What is up YouTube? Today we are looking at UVI's revolutionary hybrid synthesis and sampling software called Falcon. Let's dive in and have a look at this awesome software. So UVI Falcon is an absolute powerhouse, and I can't even begin to explain all of the cool features in one video. So I'm just going to give you a quick run through and review of some of the cool things to expect within the plugin. The backtrack was made using only sounds that I had found in the Falcon factory library, and some other presets and stuff that I found within the plugin, as well as the audio sample that you'll see me mangling and stuff a little bit later on. So stay tuned for that. Falcon's sound design capabilities are incredibly vast. Not only do you have the ability to create multi-timbral performances of multiple patches that you're triggering via multiple MIDI channels and stuff like that, but you can also create multiple layers and multiple key groups within those parts. One thing to remember about the way that Falcon deals with processing your sound is it's done in a hierarchical sort of structure. So your key groups would be the lowest level, and then you've got the layers, and then you've got the program, which is kind of your part in the multi-timbral performance. So let's have a look at some of the oscillators that are built into Falcon. So you'll notice along the bottom here, you've got the mapping section. What that allows you to do is to drag any sort of sample or granular sample engine or oscillator onto specific key groups. So you're able to trigger, for example, sub-oscillators with your left hand on the keyboard, and a different sort of set of oscillators or different samples and stuff with different key groups, like on the right hand with a different keyboard or anything like that. So you're able to get pretty advanced with not only your sound design sort of ideas, which we'll get to later, but just the way you perform your patches and the way you play your patches and arrange them. So the first oscillator we're going to look at is the Wavetable Oscillator. This is similar to what you'd expect in like Serum or some of the other Wavetable synthesizers out there. The cool thing about this is it's got an FM voice already built in. So a lot of the parameters and stuff for that voice are sort of predefined within certain limits. So you're kind of only capable of getting sort of cool sounds out of it, if that makes any sense. Another cool thing about the Wavetable Oscillator is you can simply just drag and drop wavetables from your library. You can see along the right hand side of the screen, you've got your browser, and that allows you to drag anything from your, for example, your Serum wavetable folder or any other plugins wavetable folder or wavetables that you've maybe collected from analog synths or maybe bought online or something like that. You can just drag them into the Wavetable Oscillator and you're good to go. Then we've got the Pluck Oscillator, which is simply put a physical modeling oscillator with some pretty interesting features. I'm not going to dive too in depth in this video, but you can definitely expect a tutorial on this in the future. The cool thing about this though is you've got your synthesizer section, but you've also got a section which allows you to either drag and drop a sample from your library or choose from some of the predetermined excitation algorithms, which are sort of the algorithms applied to your synthesizer to give it the sort of physical natures in which the sample kind of was recorded. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that correctly. So for example, you can see there's the piano hammer, so it'll make your synth sound voice like the sort of hammer of a piano, if that makes any sense. Then we've got the organ oscillator, which is kind of like an additive synthesizer as well. Then we've got the noise oscillator, which is pretty crazy. I don't think I've ever seen so many different types of just noise built into a plugin. You've got sample and hold, you've got the ability to create all sorts of random glitch type sounds, all sorts of kind of vinyl crackle, or sort of all sorts of crazy stuff. So definitely check this part out. Then you've got an FM oscillator, which is similar to, for example, Ableton's operator. This is cool because you're able to get a similar approach to the sound design that you would apply in Ableton's operator, which is cool for guys who maybe don't have Ableton but are looking for a similar sort of sound. Then we've got the drum oscillator, which kind of emulates your sort of TR-808s, 909s, that kind of stuff, sort of drum synthesizer type thing. This is pretty cool because you're able to make some pretty sharp electronic kick drums. I'm definitely going to be doing a tutorial on how to generate kicks in this, and you can tune them to specific frequencies alongside the whole key groups thing. You're able to get some pretty cool kick drum effects out of this plugin. Then you've got the analog and analog stack modules, which are sort of like your regular subtractive synthesizer oscillators, the stack being multiple versions of the analog module. So you're able to kind of create your own super saws or do some crazy kind of unison effects, or you know, the sort of regular subtractive type of stuff. So the sampling, granular and resynthesis engine in Falcon is incredibly advanced. I'm not going to begin to break it down or even understand it in this video. What I'll do though is I will record a sample in and I'll play with it for a little bit. Then you guys can kind of get an idea as to what the capabilities are of sort of mangling samples and stuff like that.
UVI Falcon. 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 UVI Falcon. 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 Falcon.
Most plugins have a kind of predetermined way of dealing with modulations. You know, you can either draw in your envelopes or you can choose from a set of predetermined envelopes. Or you have sort of varying curves and stuff like that. Falcon, however, has a choice of 6 different types of envelopes. So you've got either a regular sort of analog ADSR type of envelopes, or you've got the more advanced envelopes where you draw in the curve, or even draw in different shapes and stuff like that. So you can certainly get incredibly advanced with just the modulation as well inside this software. Then you've got LFOs and random generators and all sorts of other stuff. The effects section in UVI Falcon is massive. There's different types of delays, reverbs, all sorts of different modulations. One thing to note about the effects in Falcon is it deals with filters a little bit differently to subtractive synthesizers. Subtractive synthesizers kind of have a predetermined routing which you can kind of choose from, or various routings to choose from. Falcon uses filters kind of as effects. So you can place them anywhere you want in your kind of hierarchy. If you want separate filters on different key groups, you just drag them onto that specific key group, or layer, or whatever you prefer. Falcon also has a really cool way about dealing with macros. Say for example, you want to create a macro out of a couple of parameters in your patch, or just one of the parameters because that's the one that you're most likely to use, and you don't want to dive between pages and stuff like that. Let's right click on this feedback knob, click assign to macro, and then add new macro. Now that seems simple, right? But now if we go over to the info panel somewhere above my head over here, then we'll see that Falcon has created a nice little layout for macros, and you're able to create a whole bunch of different macros and sort of create your own custom layouts. So this is pretty cool if you're wanting to pass on presets to a friend and you're wanting to show them what parameters work best with that patch. The Falcon factory library is amazing. The sounds are incredible, especially for those guys who aren't too familiar with sound design yet and they don't want to dive into the sort of nitty-gritty aspects behind the scenes in Falcon. Most of the factory library presets in Falcon has a sort of template layout of macros already assigned. So you're able to just kind of choose from this vast amount of really cool sounds and play them instantly. You don't have to kind of break apart how the patch was actually built before you can start tweaking it. So this is very cool. It's also cool for those sound design guys who are wanting to create sort of really complex patches, but then you're just wanting to perform it with 1 or 2 knobs. So you can see they've gone into a lot of detail with the different layouts and the different macros, and the sound design is also really, really good in this plugin. As I said earlier, all the sounds that I'm using in the backtrack at the moment were taken either from the Falcon factory library or they're presets within some of the modules and stuff like that. and then the audio sample, which I mangled a little bit earlier on. So because this is a review, I'm going to give you guys some ratings, how I feel about different aspects of UVI Falcon. Audio quality, I would say, is 5 out of 5. From the factory library sounds to the sort of vast ability to create your own unique sounds, and just the whole concept behind the plugin is very, very cool and very sort of geared towards complex sound and those sort of more sound design orientated people. The learning curve on UVI Falcon is a little bit steep. So I'll say 4 out of 5 for the learning curve, just based on the fact that it takes a bit of time to get used to the sort of hierarchy kind of architecture and just the way the plugin kind of deals with everything. I'll say 5 out of 5 for intuitiveness. Once you get past the learning curve, it's an incredibly intuitive plugin. The ability to kind of drag and drop stuff from previous plugins and all sorts of stuff like that, it's just amazingly intuitive. It took me a few days to kind of warm up to it. I feel like kind of now I understand the sphere of UVI Falcon. I'm able to create things a lot more fluently than in some of the other plugins I was using before. So value for money, I'm going to say is 5 out of 5. Now you guys might call me crazy. It seems a little bit expensive to some guys at first. However, it is probably going to replace a couple of plugins that you guys were looking at. It's got the ability to sample and do granular synthesis and all sorts of stuff like that, amongst all the other wavetable and physical modeling and all sorts of stuff like that. So this is definitely the powerhouse plugin synth to go for. Like I said, it's a little bit complicated at first, so definitely take that into consideration. Awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of UVI Falcon. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you already use UVI Falcon, let me know your thoughts on the plugin in the comments as well. If you like my videos, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. If you want to support what I do, check out my Patreon page and check out the different stuff I offer there. Thanks again. See you guys next time.